Hello everyone, and welcome to this video on understanding crimp in textiles. Today, we will explore what crimp is, how to calculate it, and why it's important in fabric production. My name is Arun Raj, and I'll be guiding you through this topic. Crimp refers to the amount of bending that a thread undergoes as it interlaces with threads lying in the opposite direction of the fabric. It's crucial to understand crimp because it affects both the amount of yarn needed and the characteristics of the final fabric. To calculate crimp, we use the formula, crimp, denoted as, equals the difference between the length of yarn and the length of fabric, divided by the length of fabric. Typically, crimp values range from 0.01 to 0.14. Although there are circumstances where the values can be greater. We also use the crimp ratio formula. For practical purposes, we often convert crimp into a percentage. This helps us better understand and communicate the extent of crimp. Calculating crimp accurately is essential for determining the amount of yarn required for a particular fabric length and assessing how much fabric can be produced from a given yarn length. This is vital for efficient and cost-effective textile production. Let's look at our first example. If we need to produce 200 meters of fabric with a warp crimp of 7.5%, we first express the percentage as a decimal, which is 0.075. Using the formula, we find that the length of warp required is equals 200 times 1.075 is equal to 215 meters. In our second example, we calculate the final width of a fabric. If the initial worksheet width is 1.20 meters and the weft crimp is 5%, we express this crimp as a decimal, 0.05. Using the formula, we find the final fabric width is equals 1.143 meters. For our third example, we determine the percentage crimp in a fabric where the fabric length between points is 160 millimeters, and the yarn length removed from the fabric is 176 millimeters. Using the formula, we calculate crimp percentage as equals 10%. A crimp tester can be used for more accurate measurements. The longer the length of yarn tested, the more accurate the results. This tool is particularly useful in quality control and production planning. Select the warp or weft way of the fabric and cut a 10 flap. Carefully remove a single yarn from the flap. Grip one end of the yarn in the fixed gripper and the other end in the setting gripper at the test length. Apply tension to the yarn by pulling the free end until the tension bar's white mark aligns. Measure the yarn length under tension, calculate crimp percentage, and average results for at least 10 samples for both warp and weft. In conclusion, understanding and calculating crimp is vital in the textile industry. Accurate crimp calculations help determine the necessary amount of yarn and ensure the production of high-quality fabrics. Thank you for watching.